there, fellow historians! This is Grace Thanasu bringing you another episode of 5 Minute Flashback. This past March, America's favorite talk show host Oprah Winfrey sat down with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, more commonly known as Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. In this interview, the couple and Meghan individually spoke about their painful experiences with racism, mental health, and the media during their tenure as working members of the British royal family.
Were you silent or were you silenced?
The latter.
Since this interview aired, there's been a renewed interest in the royal family and the British monarchy in general. What's some of the history of the British royal family? What kind of power does the modern royal family actually wield in Britain's constitutional monarchy? Those are all the questions we will be answering today. The reigning Queen of England, Elizabeth II, can trace her family lineage back an entire millennium. You heard me, we're starting our family history way back in 1066 Common Era, the year that William of Normandy conquered England. William of Normandy had several children, and back in those days there weren't established rules for which child would get to inherit the throne. After William of Normandy's death, his oldest son, William II, became king. Clearly though, brotherly drama has always run in this family because Henry I got to become king after his older brother William mysteriously died while the two were on a hunting trip together. Many generations followed like this, where family members let their desire for the throne and the lack of clear rules of succession get the best of them. More family and political drama ensued, but royal succession still managed to happen for several generations. That is, of course, until the English Civil War, when Oliver Cromwell, a parliamentarian and a critic of the monarchy, beheaded Charles I and took over as Lord Protector of England. Many historians have labeled Cromwell's regime as dictatorial, though, and his unpopularity led to the eventual re-establishment of the monarchy. Charles I's son, James II, reclaimed the crown, but he wasn't a very well-liked king at this point in England because he was Catholic, and this was during the Protestant Reformation. As such, he was replaced with his Protestant daughter, Mary II, and her Dutch and Protestant husband, William III. They were childless, and so was the next leader, Queen Anne, so it became confusing again as to who would get to sit on the throne next. Parliament stepped in and said that the rightful monarch would be a descendant of Sophia of Hanover, the granddaughter of King James, who was king of both England and Scotland at one point. From there, succession has been relatively smooth sailing. As we said earlier, the current monarch is Queen Elizabeth II, and her planned successors are her son Prince Charles, his oldest son Prince William, then William's oldest child Prince George. Now that was just a lot of family history. The reason these family lines have been so closely tracked is because at the point in history when England was an absolute monarchy, the king or queen had supreme political power. Today, the United Kingdom operates as a constitutional monarchy, which means that the supreme power held by the monarch is largely ceremonial and formal, with actual political power being exercised by other bodies, namely the Prime Minister and Parliament. Unlike the United States, the British government does not have a single document that functions as their constitution. Instead, they have an uncodified constitution, meaning that many documents and customs have shaped the practices of their governmental system. For example, there isn't a set date for when England created a parliament. Instead, Parliament began as a body of leading nobles and clergy that the monarch sometimes consulted to make decisions, and it gradually assumed more power at the expense of the monarch. This event also gives us a clue as to when the role of the Prime Minister came about. After William and Mary became monarchs, they ruled jointly, and Parliament feared that they might become too powerful. In response, they started selecting chief officers to Parliament to balance their power with the monarchs. Today, this chief officer is the Prime Minister, who is the leader of the party that wins the most seats in a general election. The Prime Minister and Parliament do almost all of the work of governing. They make and shape laws and debate on big issues of the day. That's actually all the time we have for today, so I'm gonna have to bid you all cheerio and make my little exit speech. If you liked this video, remember you can watch even more fun and educational content like this by subscribing to our YouTube channel, liking us on Facebook, following us on Twitter, and showing us some love on Instagram, all at ZTV 5 Minute Flashback. In the meantime, stay safe, enjoy life, and stay curious.
This program was produced by ZTV at the University of Akron. Do you want to gain experience in video production, professional social media, or working with real clients? Visit the UA School of Communications online or follow us on social media to learn more. ZTV, make media, make a difference.